I am Gubbar Saswami and I welcome you to my show. Today's topic is how Indians are earning love from Kashmiris. I interview one of rebel journalist from Kashmir, who was in the jail for 9 months for educate him to be an Indian. His name is Qazi Shibli and from South Kashmir-based journalist. I will tell you his crimes. Shibli was arrested in July last year because he wanted to be a Kashmiri and not an Indian. A week before the government imposed clampdown and communication blackout, the central government scrapped the erstwhile state's special status and broke it down into two union territories, JK and Ladakh, to start full-scale occupation like Israel did in Palestine. Mr. Shibli was booked under Public Safety Act, PSA, on the 8th of August 2019 for disrupting the peaceful atmosphere and to motivate the people to work for seceding the state of Jammu and Kashmir from the Union of India. Breach of peace and tranquility and are hell-bent upon violating the law and order in District Anantnag. Mr. Shibli graduated in journalism from Bangalore University and his writing has been featured in multiple national and international publications. He was the editor of the Kashmiriyat news website. His Facebook page of the Kashmiriyat was also brought down by the controlling authorities of the social networking site because we are peace-loving, world biggest democracy Indian and don't believe freedom of free speech. Tell us about your career as a journalist.
Journalist from Kashmir. I work as an editor and I have also freelanced for various international and national publications and also for some local dailies. I have been working as a journalist since 2018. I was also the editor for the online news portal, The Kashmiriyat. I recently have been released from the jail after post 9 months of detention at District Jail in Bareilly.
Why and when you were detained under PSA?
I was arrested in July, on 27th of July. And I was later lodged in Central Jail Srinagar from where I was shifted to District Jail Bareilly on the 9th of August.
Were you intimidated about threats before detention?
Now, or that we have identified now, are not very new or are not very fresh. There have been intimidations and there have been threats to journalists and to journalistic freedom in the past too. If you study journalism in Kashmir very closely, there have been cases where journalists have been maltreated, where journalists have been trashed on the streets, and the threats are not just single-sided; they are multi-sided. There have been cases where where unidentified gunmen or where pro-government gunmen have even arrested journalists.
If government questions you, what is wrong in it?
From police stations, from army camps, and from this and from wheresoever. We used to be summoned at a lot of places, which is completely fine. I mean, if you're questioning us, that's not a problem. I mean, we also question a lot of people about a lot of things. I mean, it's very common in a family. If some family member has committed a mistake, you question him, which is completely fine. But where does the problem start? The problem starts when you start harassing us, when you start threatening us, when you start declaring, when you start deciding, when you start rather dictating that what should be our content. Our content is something we are going to decide. But the only thing is there are two things, right? First is your information should be factual, your information should not be biased. If you're taking into consideration these two things, I as an editor should be able to publish and decide my own content.
What exactly happened on 27th of July?
On the 27th of July, there was a lot of chaos and there was a lot of hysteria that was spreading among the general public in Jammu Kashmir, which was regarding the heightened presence and the movement and the in and out of the security forces inside Jammu Kashmir. So a lot of journalists used to perceive and assume that this is going to happen, this might happen, and the same was the situation with the general public. Nobody had an idea what actually was happening and what actually was on the cards. There were rumors of all sorts. So the additional Deputy General of Police at that time gave a press conference in the day. I don't know if it was a press statement or a press conference, I'm not sure what exactly it was, but there was a statement in the media that that nothing like Article 370 or nothing of that sort is going to happen. They are not going to abrogate 370 or 35A or whatever the rumors in the public were. So he he at that time gave a press conference, and in that evening, from the ADGP's office, an official order got leaked, which unfortunately reached me at the first. So I got this order, which precisely and briefly mentioned uh, the number of companies that had come to Kashmir, where they had to be posted, and there was a line I'm very particular about. I was very particular about that these security forces are going to be deployed at sensitive installments. Sensitive installments was the word that was used. Petrol pumps, schools, or for that case, whatever the sensitive installation was. And we published that news, and a relevant tweet was posted to our Twitter handle, the Kashmiriyat, on Twitter. So this and the next day morning, it was a Sunday, I was summoned to the police station.
What were you told by officials at police station?
Post that, they told me that a senior police official wants to talk to me. So he did not come. And then it was a Sunday. Uh, they had promised my family, because my family had approached them. They told my family that they'll release me on the Sunday evening. And in the Sunday evening, the communication was blocked in Kashmir. The cellular networks had vanished from our phones. The internet was gone, and everything was at a standstill. So the Monday morning, I did not even ask them if they're going to release me. The Tuesday morning, I again did not ask them. And the Wednesday morning, I in fact asked them what happened. Why are you not releasing me? So they said they're busy with other things. Just wait for some days, and they're going to release me. I said okay, it was fine, because I also did understand that there were a lot of things happening back then. Article 370 had been abrogated.
What happened at Dentition Centre Srinagar?
They took me to Joint Interrogation Center, where I was questioned again, whereas I was interrogated again for half an hour, I think. So from there, I was shifted to Central Jail Srinagar without again being informed where we were being taken. So I think we reached to Central Jail Srinagar around 12:30 in the night, which was on the 9th, 12:30 a.m. So they asked us to, they were going to close the doors and everything. So they asked us to sign our dossier. That was the first time I came to know that I had been booked under PSA. After more than like 70 kilometers of journey, I was told that I had been booked under PSA. And once we reached this office of the Central Jail, they told us, they asked me to just sign the piece of paper, and unfortunately I could not read it in like 10 seconds. Obviously I could not. It was a two-page paper. It was a two-page dossier of Public Safety Act. So I was asked to sign, and I could not read actually what the charges were. It was only after 57 days when my family came to meet me in the Bareilly jail, where I had been shifted one day after. I mean, on the 9th morning, 20 Kashmiris were shifted there. We were taken there. We were rather exiled into Bareilly, 1300 kilometers away from our home, with the help of an IAF carrier. So the next day we landed in Bareilly, and for the next 57 days I was not informed what actually the charges were. And it was only on the 57th day when my family came to meet me, I actually came to know what the charges were.
What happened when you boarded to plan?
Once we boarded this plane, we felt there was a need to do something to cheer these people up, which was a mammoth task, and it seemed impossible. So Mansoor was the name of this guy from Kupwara. Mansoor and me, he was on the other side of the plane. So he just waved his hand, and I told him, okay, let's sing something. There was a lot of noise on the plane, on the IF carrier. So we sang loudly, and others could not hear us initially. So we started reciting it even loudly. There was a nazm of Faiz Ahmad Faiz, "Hum dekhenge, lazim hai ki hum bhi dekhenge, wo din ke jiska wada hai." So we started singing it very loudly, and we started singing it even louder to defeat the noise of the plane.
What happened when you reached in jail?
Once we reached inside the jail, I mean, I could easily sense that there was a feeling of fear among the prisoners in there. There were 3,000 people, non-Kashmiris, who were lodged there. So there was a feeling of fear among them, among the policemen as well, among the officials as well, among everybody. I'll tell you an interesting case. Once we entered inside inside the premises of this jail, I mean inside the ground of this jail, there were people who had come to meet the other detainees, other prisoners, in fact. Uh, so I mean these relatives or whosoever the people had come to meet the inmates, they were lathi charged. I mean they were confined. They were confined into a room and told that okay, कि यहाँ पे कश्मीरी लोग आ गए हैं, कश्मीरी लोग आ गए हैं, आप लोग भाग जाओ, run away, these are Kashmiri people. And we also felt, okay, are we terrorists or something? So I mean then we heard two policemen whispering among themselves that ये लोग बहुत बड़े आतंकवादी हैं. These are very popular, unpopular terrorists. So that was the first time we felt that there was a need to do something, and I initially realized it, because being a journalist, I know, what sort of journalism do the journalists in India do. So I had this little bit of knowledge that okay, this is not actually how these people are. This is not what they think, but this is how they have been indoctrinated.
What happened after next, where you guys were taken?
Next we were taken to these, what they used to call as HSP, which is the high security prison. So there were 4 blocks. So we were divided into numbers of 5 and 5 and 5 and 5. So we were taken into separate blocks, which is a ghetto kind of structure. Nobody is allowed in and out. Nobody is. I mean, you are denied access. I mean, a commoner is completely denied access. Even the policeman, if he enters, he has to enter with a stick. He has to enter for some work. Otherwise, he cannot enter into like the very area where we are lodged. So this was. I mean, we were separated, and then we were kept in. We were kept in the block C. 5 of us, and we were divided as in terms of districts. I mean, if there is one guy from Anantnag who goes into block C, nobody from Anantnag goes there. I mean, we were from 5 districts only. So that's how they divided us into 5 blocks. 4 blocks rather, into a number of 5 and 5 and 5 and 5. जब like police वाले आते थे, when the police used to come, the police officials, they used to weep in front of them and demanding their release. But it was not them who were going to release us, because it was the government of Jammu Kashmir, I mean the central government in fact, that had sent us to Uttar Pradesh. Which again, I want to do a little bit of commentary on that. It was just because they wanted to give a message to the people of Kashmir that अब हमने Article 370 तोड़ दिया है, अब जो हम चाहेंगे वो आपके साथ करेंगे. And the second was the distance from Kashmir to Uttar Pradesh is nearly 1300 kilometers. The bordering state to Jammu Kashmir is Punjab, then there is Haryana, then it is Uttar Pradesh. Why did they send us to Uttar Pradesh particularly? Because the government of BJP, क्योंकि पंजाब में non BJP government है, और इसके बाद जो है आपकी यही है उत्तर प्रदेश, जहाँ पे आपकी BJP की सरकार है. Or they wanted to take us so that the government of Uttar Pradesh also gets benefited, and they celebrated it. They celebrated this literally in each and every newspaper of Uttar Pradesh that we have brought Kashmiris into UP jails. They celebrated it.
What you people demanded when jail officials came to you people?
I mean, once the jail officials came to us, so we started demanding some things. And first was clean water. क्योंकि हमारे पास ड्रिंकिंग वाटर नहीं था. हम जो पीते थे वहाँ पे जो there was this rooftop पे एक water tank which was 500 liters. So we used to drink that water, which was very unsafe and very unclean. We used to drink that water, and we lodged a protest. That was the first thing we lodged a protest for. And I personally told them that I need a pen, I need a piece of paper and a pen, and I need some books. I had my books with me. They did not allow them inside because they said the printing material was a prohibited article inside the jail. So once the officials came to me, I asked them again for the book, and that was the first time we decided amongst ourselves that we're going to start a hunger strike. And it was the second day in the jail that we started a hunger strike, and the third day the hunger strike continued, and that was the time they brought us clean water. and they also gave me some books. So uh, after books, as I said, I had also demanded a piece of pen and a paper. They did not give me the piece of pen and paper throughout. I mean, for the 9 months, they did not give us any piece of paper and pen. I mean, now the primary thing was how to kill time, because you have to spend 24 hours inside your cell. You cannot, you cannot go out. You're not allowed to go out, and the only time you're allowed to go out in a day is an hour, half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the evening, and you have to roam in that very, like, in the middle of those cells. Like, there was a space. It was an arc kind of a structure, a semicircle kind of a structure. So you have to roam within that very space, which is not more than 30 by 15 feet, 30 feet like in height, and 15, 16 feet in width. You cannot go beyond, and you are always under scrutiny of the camera. Like, you have cameras inside your cells, and the first and and the initial days when you went in there, you know, you used to be a lot cautious about, that you are always being under camera surveillance.
What was the first though that struck in your mind?
So, the primary thing was how to kill time now. That was the first thought that struck everybody's mind. Uh, so my thing was done. I mean, I brought my books. Now there were fellow Kashmiris who did not have anything to do. I mean, because you cannot even talk. You cannot even talk because, if you talk, you have to shout, because the distance between you and the nearest prisoner is 15 feet. They are 15 feet away from you. So if you even speak, and there's a lot of noise out there. If you just try to speak, you have to speak very loudly. Now, I was the one, like, I had done a bit of singing and all. I started singing some nazms of Faiz Ahmad Faiz, and I also knew some Kashmiri folk songs. तो हम लोगों ने कश्मीरी folk songs भी गाना शुरू कर दिया. And there was this 57-year-old man who took a bucket, and he started beating it like a drum. And there was another guy who took a plate that we had been given for food, and there was another guy who started beating these iron rods. So that's how we killed time with music and with a lot of songs. And because they used to, there was in fact people there were in fact people who came to us and asked us whether we are from Pakistan, we are from Afghanistan, what cases have we been, for what purpose, and what under what charges have we been lodged there. They used to ask us. So because the media, again, I come back to the media, because the media there had published that Atangwadi Samarthan, terrorist sympathizers, have been lodged in Bareilly jail. So this was a general notion among people and among policemen as well. Now this gap, that gap, you are a terrorist, I'm a patriot, you are an anti-national, I'm a nationalist. ये जो गैप्स बना दिए हैं हमारी सरकार और हमारी मीडिया ने, वो गैप्स कैसे आप रिमूव करेंगे? यही सब चीज़ें हैं. आई थिंक आर्ट, म्यूजिक, दीज आर द थिंग्स. फैक्ट्स रादर, सबसे बड़ी चीज़ फैक्ट्स, जो इन चीज़ों को दूर कर सकती है. सच भी नहीं बोलेंगे वे ट्राई टू फॉलो फैक्ट्स, लेकिन फैक्ट्स के लिए कहाँ आपने तो स्पेस ही नहीं छोड़ी है. फैक्ट्स में क्या होता है, when you try to recite facts, you are murdered on the streets if you are Gauri Lankesh. And the most terrifying part of our journey in jail was this. I told you about this cancer patient who was in cell number 4. He had a throat cancer, and his thyroid and calcium glands had been removed. I mean, in dire pain. I mean, even though in the day and in the evenings I used to sing and help them to kill time and to somehow forget where we are. Even though it was very tough to do that, but for many nights together, many nights, trust me, he used to shout, he used to cry in pain, and the worst part was to feel that there was no help coming to you. I mean, they would maximum call a doctor who would just give you some medicines. He cannot take you to the hospital. That was prohibited. Because even if they have to do anything, they have to ask the concerned people. I mean, people who have sent us there. That was the government of That was the central government and the government of Jammu Kashmir. I mean, the governor administration in Jammu Kashmir. That was the worst experience in jail. I mean, he used to cry very much in pain. Like he used to stretch out his hands literally. But the worst part was feeling that there was no help at all. Of course, there are plenty of incidents. I mean, for example, if you take the case right now, I mean, there's a lot of talk about journalists who work in larger towns. I mean, a journalist threatened everywhere is, I mean, a threat to journalism. That's what I personally feel. I mean, there's a lot of talk about journalists in Srinagar. I mean, because there's a centralized pattern of media in Kashmir also. I mean, it happens everywhere, but this is very problematic because in such a scenario, what happens is the incidents with smaller journalists, as you said, and in smaller towns go unreported. There's a journalist of ours who worked with the Kashmiri. He has been booked under UAP and he has been under detention for the past 1 month. I want to convey a simple message. As I said earlier, कि चाहे वो स्मॉल टाउन के जर्नलिस्ट हो, चाहे वो बड़े टाउन के जर्नलिस्ट हो, चाहे वो नेशनल पैटर्न पे हो, the national media, the international media, the local media, it doesn't matter wheresoever it is happening. I mean, a journalist at the end of the day is a journalist, and a media organization is a media organization. So as simple as that, a threat is a threat to journalism. If we have to do something, we have to even stop. I mean, if we are attempting to stop and say something about an attack, that Qazi Shibli is being taken to, Qazi Shibli should be released. I mean, the CPJ is doing stories about me. The international media, the Time magazine, Al Jazeera, everybody is doing stories about me. So the government ultimately maybe is feeling pressurized. I mean, these things should also be reported about smaller journalists, small-time journalists.
Thanks you very much for watching my show, and long live free Kashmir.